I am Adesh Jain. I am going to be your faculty for the next 2 days. But before we start, I'd like to take your concurrence to frame certain conditions of learning. People come, they start getting PPTs, start getting into the rigmarole of something to learn. But unless you do preparation for any project, for planting a seed, you must do preparation to plant the seed. If you're taking a project, you must be, before starting the project, you must do necessary preparation for the project. The preparation holds a substantial amount of success of the project, very large amount of success. If you rush too much in the beginning, you are bound to mismanage the project. This has been proven hundreds and hundreds of times. Preparation is important. Planning, preparation, understanding. If it takes more time, it's better to spend more time in the upfront planning than to have confusion during the project. This is the project. Start time 9:30, close time 6 o'clock tomorrow. It's not going to be 6:02 tomorrow in the evening, and will not be late after 9:30, sharp at 9:30. So these are fixed boundaries. And therefore, what kind of ground rules? I have involved myself in teaching since almost 1967. I am a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry, 1962. In 1965, I did my Bachelor of Electrical Engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. And then I did my Masters of Engineering in Control Systems in 1967 from Canada, Carleton University. My professor of thesis was from MIT, United States, Dr. George. So I have found over the last, I would say 45 years, there are certain ways of improving the learning capabilities of the individuals. We are talking about 100 billion neurons. In your mind, you have 100 billion neurons, and they get connected, what is called synapses. You can imagine how many synapses will there be. 100 trillion, more than that, 100 trillion synapses. How do you create the synapse? How do you create the synapse or connection, which could be a positive connection? It does not lose shortly or a short time. So the first, we agree on the rules in this, is all men by nature desire, all men by nature desire knowledge. And this is said by Aristotle when he said men, women are included. And therefore, demanding quest to learning with humility. The more you are knowledgeable, more you become humble, because more you know that you don't know anything. The humility comes. The arrogance comes when you learn little bit and you think you know everything, and the arrogance comes. So I think it's very important. Arrogance is like a cloud. It will stop sunshine of the knowledge to come to you. Vitamin D is what you get through sunshine. Here is what you get is good learning, good attitude, good values to make your working atmosphere wherever you are more effective. So this is something which is very important. All of us are desirous of learning. Second, you have different background. It's a public workshop. We expect a large number of people, 55 plus. We expect these people from 30 organizations, from public, private sectors, and therefore there would be a different background on account of company structure. There will be different background in terms of own your experience. Your own experience profile will give you different background. And of course, experience gets related to your number of years of experience, relevant experience. So it's very important not to dominate. It's not going to be a one case study. It's not going to be only focused on one segment only. It will be cutting across all the sectors. The risk management, project risk management, leading to certificate in project management is a program which will apply to every disciplines. But therefore, I would like you to be, to bear that in mind. Ask question anytime, and because it is recorded, my colleagues, people who are recording, there are partners. We have respect for them. They are spending time to do something. And you know that kind of respect for your partners, when you bring in your projects, you excel in projects. Project management is a team building of all the stakeholders together. The contractors, the consultants, and the customers. The contractors are as important as customers and consultants because together they would be able to integrate. I can give you hundreds of examples where we have found that by involving everybody, you are likely to achieve much better results. So the question anytime, I refer, if you have, raise your questions, raise your hand. My colleague will take the mic and you will capture your question and the answer so that it becomes part of our recording. No titles or designation in the program. Titles are important to run the companies. Titles becomes barrier when you start learning something. I am the chairman, I am the president, I know everything. I have been running this company for so long. I have made this company successful. Now that arrogance makes these companies not to do well later on. Because tomorrow is not the extension of yesterday. If you have done well till now, it is not an insurance that you will do well tomorrow unless you change your strategies. Because the strategies must change with time. What worked yesterday based on the yesterday's global environment, global business environment, global competitive environment is not going to be the same tomorrow. So you got to change. Your lens must change. It's like an eye. It changes the focal length depending upon what it is reading and how far it is reading. It's a very dynamic. We should learn from this great boon we have got through eyes, vision, how it changes. Depending upon the light, it changes. Your retina changes. Everything changes. So this is important to know titles or designations. We have only two titles here, either as a student or as a teacher. Each one of you have that capability of sharing your idea. During this two-day presentation, if you want to supplement, you are most welcome. I do not want 110 eyes and my face. 55 into 2 is 110 eyes. So we like to make it very interactive, very supportive to each other, and therefore titles are not important except this learning part. Laugh and smile all the time. If you sit like gorilla, very serious, risk management is very serious thing going on. I can assure you, you are aging faster. Well, the blood circulation to gorilla's face like is much less. When you smile and laugh, jokes, then you have larger number of muscles getting better blood circulation. I'm not making any remark on gorilla's face, how they look like, but certainly this is a medical fact that the blood circulation is much better if you are smiling all the time. So I would very, not only for learning, but only for keeping yourself young, I suggest you believe in smiling. Don't be tense. You will be tense a little bit because there is examination. So therefore I can assure you, if you pay attention, I'm sure I don't know what examination will be, because there is a separate body which does the exam. We are the community of teachers who teach the syllabus. They would see on that syllabus what would be the exam pattern. But if you pay attention, I'm sure you will succeed. So I think still laugh and smile all the time. If you feel sleepy, especially some of you, when you see jalebi or good gulab jamuns or rasmalai, it's very difficult to restrain yourself after lunch. You are bound to feel sleepy because you have taken a lot of these rasmalais. I love rasmalais, but because I'm going to teach, I cannot afford to fall asleep. But some of you, if you feel sleepy anytime, don't hesitate. Nahi kaise batayenge. So please get up. We'll make sure you have some black caffeine, very strong espresso, double dose, original Brazilian coffee beans we can also order for you. So this is very important. But in any case, if you feel sleepy and you're closing your eyes, certainly should not snore. Kharrate nahi banna hai. Because I will give you benefit of doubt that you have closed your eyes, you are deep in meditation stage, you are understanding whatever I am saying, very deeply into your neural network. Oh, what a great. In fact, if you don't snore and close your eyes, I'll be very charged. I am making people to be in that mode. Certainly snoring, I would certainly like you to avoid. Anyway, I will shout quite a bit, so you won't snore. The next one is no cell phone. Cell phones are the barriers. In the olden days, when Devtas used to do yagya, the Rakshasa will come, the bad people will come and destroy the yagya, because after yagya, the sustainability is at stake. And one of the common characteristics of living being is to survive. Progeny, to create something next birth, seeds of any living being, they have to do that, replicate, and to survive. So the Rakshas community will try to damage, because through yagya, their lifespan will be reduced. So these Rakshasa in modern days are these cell phones, partly in this kind of atmosphere. Somebody tuk-tuki, disturbing, vibrator, you are having a vibrator, restless, when do I go out? So your mind gets disturbed, and this I would say, silent is okay. During the tea break, lunch break, you should able to attend to cell phone. I per se am not against, but I am certainly against your using cell phone during the serious learning sessions. Silent is okay. Vibrator I will suggest not to unnecessary unless you have itching. So keep that vibrator wherever you have itching. It will give you some help to to soothe out. That is okay. So this is a cell phone. Mine is silent, and I would like you to keep your cell phones. And the good news is, if your ring comes from anywhere here, he is going to take us out for dinner tonight in Imperial Hotel. So that way, if we agree, then I think things will work. Because unless you have some challenges like that, people do not necessarily. So you have some time to close, but certainly like you do so. Focus, no roaming of mind, left or right. Very important. The mind is very difficult to tame. Speed is faster than the speed of the light, and very difficult to tame. Most difficult to control. As a control system engineer, I can tell you it's impossible. So the roaming of mind takes place, natural, and certainly some of you have responsibilities, some of you will have bosses asking you to some MIS, they have sent you, but they have sent you partly, they still expect you to attend to their things. So I would suggest very strongly, we are going to cover a lot of technical issues. I'd like you to do this. Positivity, energy all around, and no stress. I'm sure the folders are good, everything is good, pen will work, you have this, but don't create some problem. This slide ठीक नहीं आ रही, नजर नहीं आ रही है. This is not visible. Yes, make a note, demand quality, make a note, we'll take a corrective action, move forward. You must demand quality. But in order to demand quality, you must deliver quality. It has to be both ways. We demand quality only, but we don't deliver quality. That is not sustainable. ये नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ, ऐसा नहीं है. This is not there. I want this, I want. But are you able to do this? So that's very important. We must demand quality and we must deliver quality. Because only when those people who are delivering quality have a right to demand quality. Very important part. So positive energy, continuous improvement, we need to work on that. Answers can be supplemented by others. We will have enough opportunities, and if you have something to point to make, some case study, something you want to talk about, don't hesitate. So share your ideas. We are together to share ideas and learn from each other. So these are some of the ground rules which I think I'm sure you will accept them, you will agree, you will abide by, or they are very common, and I'm sure none of you. But today we talk about democracy of mind, so I should ask you, do you agree with this or not? Yes or no? Yes. And one of the rule now, 11th rule which I'm adding, don't sit like a, stand by center. You have to say one way or the other. Either yes or no. No half. Binary system. Either 0 or 1. Switch. Either the switch is on or the switch is off. So this is the 11th rule. Don't put Band-Aid in your mouth, because you are not Buddha, not to speak. So now when I say I like you to be more responsive, just don't get excited a little bit. If you want to do some exercise, get up. If you're feeling a little bit. But do you agree? Yes or no? Yes. But still the voice is much less than there's 50 people. It's very difficult because we are used to do redos. That's why productivity is low. Gentlemen, make no mistake. Any society which will do redos will not be competitive in time to come. It is an eternal law of productivity. Anything you do second time, you are off the radar screen. You are not competitive. So this time, the third time, the first time was not counted because I have not explained to you the 11th rule that you have to say. But the second time was not so powerful. But this time, instead of yes or no, you have to say namaskar. I would say namaskar first, and when I stop, all of you should say namaskar from the top of your voice. Let there be small disturbance to our SIAM next door, no problem. And we will have my friend to go outside the hall and see whether you have heard or not. Can you go outside and just see whether you have, and don't come till you hear, because we will keep on doing it till you come. It's very important to know that unless you measure, you cannot perform. Measurement is the key to performance. And of course, right performance, right thing you're doing. You can do you can have wrong projects, wrong things, and wrong measures to do, and wrong performance you think you have done. Priority. We are going to talk about it during these 2 days. So this is now, if you want to practice a little bit, you have water in front of you. You can this time, we are not going to do redo. First time write FTR. I'm going to do this myself. So are you all set?
Yes.
Namaskar. Yeah, I think this is good. Now they will say something is happening here. Recently Manesar's problem, they think something is happening. There's also in the automobile sector. He has not come. Is he having a mobile? I think we did enough. It's maybe totally soundproof. Has he not heard, or is he has gone to the gate of Lee Meridian? It's very important. Scope definition. Nahi? No? No, you have not heard. We can do a little bit manipulation, keep the door a little bit. It's quite I mean, we have good voice, we had good thing, good, testing of the soundproof hall. So I'm sure our people would not have been disturbed. So this is where we need to get yourself excited. We're going to do this. Now, before we start, there are two things I will do. First, I'll give you a small coverage of what we did recently on July 9th. We opened the 13th chapter of PMA, Project Management Associates. It's a non-profit society established in 1993, and I am the founding president of the society. The idea was to create project-oriented India. In my view, in early 90s, and I have maintained that view, that India has to transform herself to project mindset, to project thinking, looking at things holistically. We have made some progress. We have made progress. We are on the run. We are moving up. But to my assessment, we have a long way to go. And I'm sure we will go more rapidly in time to come. But as of now, in the project management maturity, I will not rate India very high. But certainly the PMA main mission is, one line statement is to create project-oriented India. From a traders to manufacturing to projects. So I think we have to transform that. And this, I'm going to show you in 15 minutes, the summation of what is happening globally, qualifications and things like this, set up this whole tone to you, because project risk management is part of generic project management. It is one part. We'll talk about it. So let me just give you a rundown. This is very important, the quotation which I want to show it to you, early 90s, Professor Rosabeth Moss Kanter, who used to edit Harvard Business Review for many, many years, she said that project management discipline will be one of the two major disciplines which will dominate the 21st century, cross-functional team building and project management. This was a great motivation factor of starting this. My own career began with artificial intelligence. My career began with the automation of landing, how planes should land. That was my first project. Digital airborne computers, how do you put the gyroscopes and the linear accelerometers on the body of the plane to see that the plane can be pilotless in 67. So that is how it started, then artificial intelligence, and then supercomputing. I used to work for Control Data Corporation, very large company, largest computers in 60s and 70s were produced in terms of computing power is from CDC. They don't exist now because they did not change in time from supercomputing to the what you have laptops. The laptop here is much more powerful than the largest computer system produced by Control Data in 60s and early 70s. And Cray computers, very largest. Seymour Cray was an engineer in CDC, hardware engineer. So I think my first inning in India, after I came back in 73, I was involved in the computerization of Bokaro Steel in the largest scale, third generation, fourth generations, and then process control computers. And then I moved to BHEL in 1975, and I headed one of the divisions of BHEL at very young age in 1978. independent power heading. This was related to IT and computers, systems and project management. A division was created. BHEL was one of the most outstanding companies during 70s in terms of bringing change. And in 1991, I got the fellowship award from Dr. S.D. Sharma, the former President of Republic of India, for laying a strong computer foundation. At that time, IT was not common. Foundation of computer foundation, bridging the gap between management and technology. My very famous slogan in BHEL was, from the users, for the users, to the users. In fact, this started in 1974 when I was in Bokaro. This was presented in Computer Society of India annual convention. Because normally the IT people think they are the best brain on the earth. They know everything, but they lack experience of the industry, and therefore there is a gap between their knowledge of IT versus the knowledge available on the shop floor. And being a computer scientist myself, I realized at very early stage that unless the users are part of you, the computerization will never succeed, ever. So therefore, from the users, for the users, to the users. So you take your specifications, whatever the production planning people want, finance people want, material management people want, marketing people want, take the requirements. They may not know what computers can do, interface, provide a bridge. For the users, write very user-friendly screens, programs, not to get PhD in computer science from Carnegie Mellon, but to make sure the screens, the user interface, GUI, graphic user interface, they are good. Mr. Thakur, your seat is vacant here. He is another visionary person, he has come as a guest, so I would like him to come. So therefore, this slogan, from the users, for the users, to the users, today you find when we started in 74, it applies right now. Even Mr. Steve Jobs, if you see, everything what he has done is for the users. And it started from the definition, the democracy, the definition of the President Lincoln. So I would say that 92 onwards, after getting the CSI Fellowship Award, then the second inning which I went into was the project management. And that's how we started, 1992. So we were very happy. I was particularly very happy. India was far behind in the computer systems. And coming from control data to India, it was like going from Mountain Everest to minus 20 feet, not even the ground floor. India was primitive. And today we have India as a very strong IT base. So I'm very happy. One of the early starters. So the project management is what we did. I was the architect of integrated project. I'm giving you this background to some extent so you can relate that later on with your own background. I was the architect of the integrated project management system, which is commonly called IPMS. My name used to be AC Jain that time. So if the old dinosaurs you meet, they will not say who is Adesh Jain, but they will know with AC Jain. And Dr. V. Krishnamurthy, who was the chairman, is at that time, 75, 76, we began the start of integrated project management system. And it was very interesting to unify BHEL from a common systems. That's how the origin, some of us might have forgotten, but I would say the origin of the total unified systems approach. This is what I used to give training to all the plants, what's called TUSA, Total Unified Systems Approach. Look at everything together. And I was just about 30, 31 years old. But I was senior enough. God's grace, Saraswati's blessings, people will respond. If I was just an engineer at that level, this man is crazy. But because of I became senior manager in 77 January and then moved forward and head of the division. So therefore, this whole concept of looking holistically, the material codes were different in Bhopal, in Haridwar, in Tiruchirappalli. They have different collaborations, different material code, different group manufacturing systems, production systems, different things. It was the vision of the BHEL then to unify them. And they found a person like in me to look at that and lead that discussion. Because I'm coming from an unbiased background. I'm not being in BHEL for a long time to be biased. So this is how we started. I want you to, this is very important part. Then managing committee of PMA. PMA is a non-profit society. Every country has to have a strong national association. If countries have to survive, they have to have their own national associations in various fields, whether it's a business, whether it is management or project management. We have to take care of our nation. We have to develop our own systems. We have to interface with the other countries. It cannot be a centralized system that somebody is going to dictate to us what we should be doing. That system is totally out of order. It does not work, and it shall not work. We have aspirations. We've got to fulfill aspirations. We have to make millions and millions above poverty line. So we got to work together. The national associations of many kinds, they should work. So this PMA is a national association. It is our combined responsibility to make it strong by becoming member of it. The membership is very low. It has to be much larger, and we are not going to leave this untouched. We will continue to work. Some point in time, we will have a larger base to share among us. So this is the managing committee. I am still the honorary president. My bread and butter comes from an association, the company's non-profit company, International Institute of Projects and Program Management is a non-profit. And then vice president is very eminent, a person K. Venkataramanan. He has dedicated quite a bit of his life towards strengthening project management. He's one person who has helped project management movement in this country considerably. He has been supporting us in certification, qualifications, in promoting this, and speaking into our global symposiums. And so he is the vice president. V.C. Agarwal, he was former director HR of Indian Oil Corporation. He has taken a position now with the Sanjeev Goenka Group in Calcutta. He is the treasurer. I don't want to go through all the names here, but as you can see, we have people from the Indian Administrative Service, the so-called bureaucrats, whom we want to, they have experience, they have been running, so we like to tap that energy from them. We have people from the multinational, from Wärtsilä and Alstom, who are the head of these institutions, and therefore we have to take those multinationals. Then we have the public sectors, we have James Steen of ONGC, Dr. Balians, and these are the people who are from the public sector. And then we have associations. FICCI Secretary General Dr. Rajiv Kumar is also supporting us. Mr. Rungta is a private sector Vedanta, but he was chairman SAIL earlier. And then we of course have from AICTE, there has to be a reform in the education system. To say that we are state of the art worldwide in the education system, no, certainly not. We are fooling each other if we do so or say so. We have to make reforms, holistic view, integration view, thinking, got to improve. We are great, but we would be greater, we should be greater. So we have involved Dr. Mahanta is an eminent educationalist. He is a chairman AICTE. So through him, his office, we should be able to work together to see in a limited way how do we introduce the project thinking in the MBA schools, in the final year engineering colleges, and later on in the final year students of the universities. PMA is international connectivity, and we are a member of IPMA, International Project Management Association, is a federal body. It supports member association from all over the world, 6 continents. This model is sustainable model, because this model encourages member associations to work together and at the same time independent in their thinking. Collaborative and independent. Now, this is a sustainable model for next 100 years, 50 years. This model cannot go wrong. And I was very privileged to become the first non-European president of IPMA in 2005. It was established in 1965. Till 2005, they only had European as the president. The first time in 40 years history, they nominated. I owe a great deal to all the associations. They had reposed that faith on me to lead the association worldwide. In 2007, I was chairman of the Council of Delegates of IPMA for 2 years. So I say we are member since 95. We are connected with Japan. We are connected with the Asia International Cost Engineering Council, member of PMA. On this, I like to make a small statement. In our country, the cost engineering, the costing system is again very low. We cost, we compete, we have good cost engineering, but the professional cost engineering, what you should be doing in costing, we are behind. There's no certified cost engineers. There are 45 associations worldwide who are dealing with quantity surveying, they're dealing with project management, and they're dealing with, the cost management. The three legs of this stool. PMA India, because there was no representative from India, therefore we became a member of PMA. In fact, I was the vice chairman, technical of ISEC till June 26th. And now I am now member of ISEC advisory board. And I think my main personal aim is next year, I would be the first certified cost engineer from India. I've got the now literature. Maybe I'll work with my friends, some of you, to become certified. A lot of certified cost engineers in the United States and worldwide, Australia, everywhere, UK. A lot of people who are certified in cost. So this is one area where we need to plug in at some point in time, just to say whatever we are doing, this is good enough. No, what goes on in costing. Your costing should be plus minus. The risk management, which I'm going to cover, you will see how this plays a very important role. The IPMA national associations from all over the world, quite European centric, but it has now become more global in its characteristics. IPMA's model, as I mentioned to you, is a federal model. It works with the member associations. IPMA doesn't have a full-time secretariat, even one person. It only works through MAs. The other model, opposite to this, is centralized model, that one size fits all. I am going to look at the profession through my distribution channels. So IPMA is truly a federal body, a federal structure-based organization. IPMA competency baseline, which is becoming the basis for your certification, for your qualification, covers three major components: behavioral component, contextual component, and technical component. We call it competencies. Among three of these competencies, we have 46 elements which you have to consider to be a qualified, like a driving license. You have to have this kind of characteristics. But these are much more higher. I'm very particularly pleased to introduce to you Mr. C.K. Thakur, who is sitting here. If you can kindly get up. He is one of the few IPMA level B, certified senior project manager. And this qualification is recognized worldwide, because what goes on certifying level B or CSPM is identical worldwide, the process. It's like ISO, it is in this area. So we have to have more people, and I am very sure he has done a lot of work to become CB. So this is a very important part. In 2006, Mr. G.K. Vasan inaugurated the IPMA competency baseline, what we call national competency baseline, we have adopted the same as IPMA. We didn't want to say differently that we are different. No. Engineering, like electrical engineering, most of the elements, in fact all, will apply to India. We have, since 92, we are doing global symposiums. Center for Excellence in Project Management was established in 92. Mr. Mantosh Sondhi, whom you see here on the right-hand side, he was the chairman who interviewed me for Bokaro positioning, and he was my mentor. He became Secretary Heavy Industry in 73, and therefore I was in touch with him since then, and he was the chairman of the Global Symposium 1993 at International Advisory Council. Mr. Pranam Mukherjee has come to our programs 3 times to inaugurate or to do a closing address. Nitish Sen Gupta is another legendary figure who has been involved in supporting us right from early stages. And there's one person who is no more with us. Mr. Sondhi is no more with us. It's Mr. Gopi Arola, who was a very eminent person in IAS. He was in the executive director of the IMF or World Bank. I'm not fully sure on that. Dr. Manmohan Singh came for the valedictory address in 1995 when we did a 2-day program in Guwahati. Mr. Chidambaram, what you see, the Saraswati Bandhana this morning was taken, the 7 minutes thing was from that IPMA Congress. In New Delhi, we hosted also the first IPMA Congress outside Europe. So there were 2 first time. First time the president outside Europe, first time Congress outside Europe. Next year it went to Shanghai. But New Delhi, we are very privileged to say we had a very successful, perhaps the most successful IPMA Congress so far held. This was in 2005 when I took over from my predecessor, Dr. Miles Shepherd from UK. And we took the delegation from India to Europe to get them exposed. Shri Oscar Fernandez, the General Secretary of Congress A, was with us. Last year, every year we have the celebrations. We invite people, but last year we were very privileged to have Dr. Kalam, who came to give his special address. And he released 7 books at that time. We have chapters now, 13th chapter we started in Trivandrum, but this chapter was inaugurated in Chennai by His Excellency, the Governor of Tamil Nadu. In 2009-10, we have this fellowship award, which you see here. The fellowship award is given every year to those selected people who have excelled in managing change. And here, Mrs. Sheila Dixit came 2010, and here, former chairman of ONGC, Mr. R. S. Sharma, president of Managing Director of Wärtsilä, and Managing Director of LNG Petronet. They received this fellowship award. Dr. Nitish Sen Gupta and Dr. Panda, myself. Now let me just give you a very small beginning before we get into very deep subject of project risk management, is the word projectum. The projectum is a Latin word. Projectum is a Latin word. It means to throw something forward. To throw something forward. Projectum. So projects means to do something in future. Forward means ahead. Forward means future. So that's how the word begin. And just to show you this, the projects create value for sustainable future. What projects do you take? Portfolios. What do you want to do? Future is uncertain. Because future we don't know. And especially when the rate of change is high, the uncertainty is high. And we'll cover this more during the main project risk management module, but this is just a small synopsis that the rate of change makes you to look at future uncertainty much higher. Best thing is to control it. Now these 6 basic processes, they existed from the time of human civilization. These basic processes existed in our mind, in our neural network, subconsciously, right from the beginning of civilization. That is, initiate, plan, organize, implement, control, and deliver. Now, what are we talking about? What kind of projects we're talking about in the caveman age, caveman time, thousands of years ago? The 2 basic characteristics which we all have in living beings: survival mechanism and to create progeny, to replicate. When cancer keeps on replicating without any control, then you're finished. So replication doesn't mean infinite replication. Replication means finite replications in terms of continuity. Take care of the mortality. In the earlier days, the mortality was high, therefore you will create enough who will survive. So therefore, when you see a tiger as a caveman, you have a family, you will plan to escape being the victim of tiger. You will plan, initiate survival, plan for survival, organize, no noise or whatever it is. I've never been in that situation to tell you exactly how it worked, but I'm just simply visualizing. Shit comes, I don't know what I will do. But certainly, they organize that part, implement whatever you have done, control, because you implement and control together, finally deliver. Either you have saved yourself and the family, or some of them have gone into the mouth of tiger, then lessons learned. After delivery, lessons learned, passed on to the next generation. Lessons learned. Lessons learned is integral part of living beings. Lessons learned means we have committed mistakes. That culture is what I'm going to talk about passionately. We must bring that culture to take decisions in the future. Some decision can go wrong. You cannot hound me, you cannot kill me, you cannot say, Mr. Jain, you have done this mistake. This was my assumptions, I could not succeed. It's all very important part of risk management I'm going to cover. But the reason I'm trying to set up this preparatory part to bring you at the common denominator by these slides is to have common platform on project management, then we will go deep into risk management. I'm trying to give you the holistic view first and then a specific view on risk management. Now, major transformation which is happening from subconscious stage of these 6 processes to conscious stage of these 6 processes. These processes existed, but now we are recognizing these processes scientifically through our network of mind and saying, hey, this is what we should do at this phase. More structured way of bringing these processes rather than only unconscious. So the process orientation now, the 21st century is a century of process orientation and at the same time, innovation. Process orientation should not discourage you to do innovate. They go hand in hand. So that, I think, is the major transformation of making project management as a distinct discipline. 1987-88 was the first certified project professional in the United States. 1950s, we have seen Corning glass, PERT, evolution of PERT techniques, Polaris missile, a lot of things you can see to started putting down some pressure during the Cold War. How to shrink time. So this is a major change in the field of project management from subconscious stage to conscious stage through processes, understanding what we should do. I just want to show you one slide which is very important. Of late, I am working on the pyramid project. I've got 2 or 3 volumes, but I wanted to show you this slide, especially the 230 meters long each side of the pyramid, 4 sides, and the length perfectly level within 15 millimeters, 1.5 centimeter. 230 into 3.3 feet. You're talking about 760 feet and 1.5 centimeter. There was no laser, there were no instruments. 4,600 years ago, and they could do it. Now if you want to do 100 feet, if you can measure with 1.5 in highways, he should be ready to get award. In 10 feet you cannot even have that accuracy. You have to supervise them, Just look at this. And if it was not that accuracy subconsciously, the whole structure would have collapsed. If you do finite element method study, which we do today in computers, if you do structure analysis, if the difference is more than that, I am told the structure is not sustainable, subconscious. Finished stone 2-ton blocks from 17 kilometers away, 60-ton blocks from 800 kilometers away. They have to transport 81 2-ton blocks to be laid every day, average. Now there were no cranes, there were nothing of that kind, only people, objectives, work together. Total 2.5 million blocks, average workforce 13,200, and the 40,000 workers with so many million days. Very important. What made them to succeed is a very common thread of doing something, maybe only for survival for themselves or for somebody to make sure they can live eternally. Look at the whole first. What I'm trying to show you is the overall picture rather than rushing on these PPTs here. Once we see the overall picture, then we can integrate part by part. Michelangelo saw the whole Sistine Chapel, he looked at the ceiling, looked at the hole, and then he painted. At all levels, we should look at the whole first and then implement part by part. V-shape. Look at the whole, break it down, integrate. V-shape. But look at the whole first before you break down. That means it's a different set of mind parameters. The mind, the political mind, the bureaucratic mind, the management mind, the delivery, it has to be delivery oriented, look at these things, and these are the basic of risk management, which I'm going to cover in very depth. I'm concerned about this. Holistically, we are not able to do as much as we should do. But holistically, the Indian country, as an Indian nation, as Bharat Vishal, what we would like to be, and what do we need to do now to achieve that end. Mahatma Gandhi had objective, simple objective. We want to be independent, Swaraj. It might have taken years, decades, but that's what it is. The overall aim was clear. And in between you have many ways, but all the time you kept the ultimate destiny which you want the country to take and achieve. Very important. Holistic is the important thing. In control systems, the strategy for optimization as a whole system is often going to be different than the strategy to optimize one part. Ask not what country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Country as a whole, when John F. Kennedy made this speech. Holistic view, beyond differentiation. Holistic view means integration. You cannot have a whole unless you have integrative approach. You can never have whole if you don't integrate. first, and then differentiate, divide into work packages and integrate again. For looking at the whole, you must have integrative approach and not differentiative approach, because in differentiative approach, you will never see whole, and you will destroy the business and the society and the environment. So this is very important part I want you to. It has been modified since 99 when I had a half-a-day program in Stockholm, Sweden. And I've added up 2 more elements here, but I have redefined in 99 where project means projection. My PowerPoint is being projected. The projection of dream as an individual, as a family, as a company, as a society, as a state, as a country, as a region, as a globe. What is the dream? Projection of vision, projection of abstract ideas, like Wright brothers, we can fly. Abstract ideas, R&D, and projection of strategies. What strategies do we have? This is all projection. And once you have projection, then you align people, have differences, discuss together, and arrive at consensus through a democratic norms. Not one-upmanship, is working together. Aim is the same. If aim is the same, then we will emerge as victorious in consensus. What is in it for me? If it is hidden in our mind, then I am playing hidden agenda. I have something which is in my mind only. Therefore, my consensus, my team building will be destroyed because I have something which is going to benefit me. Hidden agendas destroy the teams. That's why they call it hidden agenda. So this is a very important part of, and if you have these kind of characteristics, your risk elements come down, risk management comes down, risk management, it becomes easy to manage, and so this is the nothing to do with the risk, but the generic system. You go through these stages, plan and organize. I put personally, you don't find much literature available on organization, but I believe organization is a very important part of a project life cycle. Plan is good enough, but how will you organize resources, this. So organize, I consider as perhaps the committed to the organize as a life cycle, implement control here, and then finally deliver, optimize. Optimize means lessons learned, delivery, and lessons learned from delivery. The optimized model must be strong. Neural networks get energy from lessons learned. Like we get energy from proteins. The human mind gets energy from knowing what to do and what not to do. Equally. In fact, gets more energy in my view. I'm not a scientist, but what not to do gives me more energy than what to do, because what to do I've done, okay, fine. But not to do gives me more thinking. More thinking means more energy. In this area, I would request, urge you to create within your own organization lessons learned. We need not be taking shower in the sandalwood water or pure milk or Bisleri water. That we are pure and we do not do any mistakes. We have done no mistake. Those are useless fellows who have done no mistake in their life. Or their very small percentage of probability. They were so lucky in a probability distribution that they could not do many mistakes. People who do not do mistakes normally don't take decisions. They are paper pushers. They take no responsibility and therefore no mistake. People who are doing it, they will, probability point of view, they will have lack of information, full information you don't have, we'll talk about it. So optimization model we have to strengthen. In the private, public, government sector, we have to have open society to say, these were the assumptions, this is what went wrong, we learned lesson from here. And then of course the management is accomplishment, the awakening of dream, we have right to dream. People who have no education, children have right to dream for better education, not to be exploited as a child labor. There cannot be gender bias. The girls have equal right than the boys. We just cannot avoid them not to dream. Not to dream would mean making them towards animals. Even animals dream. Dogs think they should get a very nice bone. That's okay. So I think the dream and the dream is very important to the society, the vision for the company's point of view. Awaken the dreams. It is a tough time. It's a tough thing to do, but therefore we are managers to manage tough things. Realize the vision. Concretize the abstract ideas, development. It's not important how many ideas you have. What is important today, who is delivering fast? Who is bringing those ideas into reality fast? Facebook? Yes, billionaire. You don't have to wait for 20, 30 years, 40 years, 100 years to become the richest man on the earth. The ideas implementation is the key. So concretize your ideas into practice and deliver these strategies. Only delivery counts. How you could not do it is nobody's concern. We are not PhD in excuse management. PhD. Why we could not do? Today, globally, from society point of view, gentlemen, there is nobody who is ready to listen to excuses. They would like to see results. Excuse, problems, hurdles. I'm not saying it is free of hurdles, but those hurdles we must learn, move forward, have the passion to deliver. Passion. So this is the project management is delivery management, DM. Project management is uncertainty management because you deal with the future. Project, and this I want to show you a slide, if it works, the animation. So this is where it is. You can see this. Strategies or ideas or vision or dream, you go through engineering and IT, contracts management, procurement, marketing, finance, leadership, team building, soft side, hard side, systems, partnership, all these things you do, and finally you deliver, deliveries. What is most important is integration. How do you integrate these functional expertise? HR, marketing, systems. You must be able to integrate. So integration skills, the project management skills must be taught in every MBA school. Not as an option. Papad. Ho gaya, fine. No, fine. Anywhere else have to sell soaps and Colgate. Even selling, you require project management approach. The integrations, every activity is project management. Daughter's marriage, planning for children's education, coming on time at 9:30. Some people couldn't come because of some reasons. So I would say the conceptualization of teaching people to integrate, to look at holistic, to have the thinking of whole and then part, should inculcate right from the beginning of the childhood, because that is the time when his neural networks are getting formed, connections. That is the time we should capture. And that is something I have in mind, the time, and we will be able to go step by step. And the future generation should certainly look at that kind of processes. Strategies to deliveries through mechanism. General management, project management, there's a lot of overlapping. General management should be here. This is all overlapping period. 2001, you could see this. I've not traced the history from the early 20th century, but I wanted to bring to 21st century. And I believe strongly as an individual that delivery management 2021, we should be talking about delivery management. Instead of PMO, we'll be talking about DMO, Delivery Management Office. There will be change from PMO to DMO. What you do, how you do, team building, resource mobilization, outsourcing internally, externally, I don't care. I have to win the gold medal, ultimately. Of course, process is important. Don't misunderstand. So I would say there are some gaps I have left intentionally in the graphics because I cannot predict anything of the future because prediction is just not possible, but you could be partly right in that. So I would say, but I am very sure personally, ultimately it is the delivery management. Planning and delivery, you cannot say I'm sitting on the 20th floor corner office, I'm a planner, I have the most brilliant neural networks, best possible education in strategies, in planning, in economics, in other fields. I can predict what the future will look like, and therefore my expertise is in that field, and the delivery is on the ground floor. If this is a distortion, if there is a division between them, it's not fragmented approach with distortion, it is not sustainable anymore or function. Either I'm a planner or I'm delivery. The or function is not sustainable. How much and you can bring is a different measurement, but planning and delivery is like body, it is planning and delivery together. You're planning to take jalebi and then you're delivering, the insulin is taking place, tuk-tuki. Otherwise your sugar level will go up. So planning for jalebi and delivery in terms of insulin are taking place. Are you with me? Yes or no? Yes. One person is busy writing, Now you should say, yeah. As long as you're not in the Buddha state, it's fine. So the story here is, we got to develop that dynamic life cycles, dynamic, or to end planning and delivery. This is just to show you the qualifications. For every discipline, you have qualifications. For MBBS, MS, you could have surgery, you could be sitting on a table, lying on a table, and somebody will come. I'm sure you would like to see an MS person dissecting your, body, doing some bypass. Not a very pretty nurse. Why? Including his 26 years from Adani, he will not go for. You're not married, right? Therefore, he is tempted to go for pretty nurse, because he may not go to pretty nurse, because he will never have opportunity to go to the hospital. He's so young. So the point I'm making here is you are looking for some qualification. I'm not saying nurse is integral part of the successful operation. They're great people, great ladies. They're dedicating themselves. But I'm saying qualifications to do many things. Anesthesias. Everybody has to work together as a team. But when it comes to dissecting or doing some bypass, you need a qualification. Engineer, logic mind, no doubt, but engineering the design of civil engineering design, tower design, you need engineer. For chartered accountant, for financial profit and loss, company secretaries. So for every lawyers, for every discipline you need some qualifications. How about project management? Sir, what are you talking about? I was born project manager. What qualification? So therefore the whole concept which is coming now worldwide is towards qualifications in project management. Knowledge based and then competency based, what Mr. Thakur has acquired level B. So this is the ABC, IPMA 4-level certification, IPMA 4LC assessment, competency, writing a report, assessment, exam, one-day workshop, and this is a knowledge-based where you can appear in ABCD. CRT-PRM, Certificate in Project Risk Management, is knowledge-based exam. It's a 1 hour, 30 minutes exam. I'm told by the managing director of the Certification Institute. He will come tomorrow. Now, this is another way of looking at the certification qualifications. These are knowledge-based. You have Prince2 from UK or IPMA 4 level, or from the Indian point of view, very strongly promoted. It covers the good qualities of every other 3 as much as possible. Certificate in Project Management. It covers 8 project life cycle rather than conventional 8. It has negative marking here in this exam. There's no negative marking in these 3. But these are knowledge-based, examination-based, I would say. More than knowledge-based, examination-based. You appear in the exam. Some will have 4-hour exam, some will have 3-hour exam, some will have 2 sections, some will have 1 section. There is a variation. But these are the blue lines which you see here are competency-based, where you are judged of what you did in that project, what kind of challenges you faced, what kind of mistakes you did, what kind of openness, stakeholder alignment, environmental hostility. All these things are interviewed by 2 people. You have to write a report to be assessed, you have to appear in the exam, and you have to then 1-day workshop to see your behavioral component. At least you don't have one-upmanship, I am the number 1. Those kind of people are not going to move up to the value chain. IPMC, Institute of Project Management Certification, is a separate body, is a certification body, is a national certification body, is aligned with IPMA, is promoted by PMA India, and this is an independent certification body. They do not do training, they only certify. You cannot be a trainer and certifying because there is a breach of code of conduct. You cannot be both. So therefore there is a bifurcation since the last 2-3 years. Comparison between India and China as on 1st January 2012, it is absolutely mind-boggling, and we should not just look at this blindly and say, no, we are different. The moment we come to this syndrome that we are different, it will not happen here. I can tell you, we are dying. Something should learn. One thing you can learn out of 100 things. You just cannot say it's just because of their different political system that nothing will apply to us. That I'm totally 100% opposed to that neural network. There's nothing in the world which cannot be used. Not a single thing in the universe which cannot be used. Some good ideas can come, something we can learn from this comparison and say how we can bridge the gap. That's all. How much it is going to be important is not important. The results are not going to be important, the outcome. But our efforts must be to bridge the gap. To look at these qualifications, carefully. Why this is going so much in that country in project management. 78 at the top level, highest in the world. Germany is number 2 to China. India, we have 12. Then the senior level, senior certified senior project manager, 795 in China. China is 4th globally among 55 nations. India 16. As on 1st January, we are 27th in the whole international benchmarking. Number 1 is Austria, small country, Vienna headquartered. Austria is number 1 in level B. Level C, these are worldwide population, 404 worldwide. CPDs, level A's, these 8,201 worldwide, out of which this is divided into 55 nations, 37,287 worldwide, 16,000 is in China, they are in China, 40% plus are in one country. India, 63. certified project manager. They are managing projects, they are managing complex projects. A lot of interviews, lot of criteria to say whether your project was complex or simple, how many interfaces you had, and this is much more globally you are managing portfolio. And the last one is examination based. Worldwide is estimated to be 1.4 million. Level D, CIPM, others from other institutions, including PMP from United States, India, China is number 1 here. India is 27th, again 27th, ranking worldwide. China is 1 and 1 here, 4th here. China is 4th here worldwide. India is 5th worldwide. Here we are relatively up in the street. But actual project management skills, the competency based, it is this level which is the basic level. And I'm talking to the organizations in India quite a bit. Why don't you have people certified level C? They will go through this drill. There's so many centers in China. We have much less center, but we will gradually build it up. I'm sure, I'm very optimist that in next 2-3 years, we'll see a lot of development. Now I just wanted to show you the comparison. In 1 year from 2011 to 12, 77 people have got added up at level A. China added 15, whereas in India we added 3. Worldwide, in 1 year, 1,100 people were added for B level. They are not so dime a dozen. They are very strong systems. India, we had added up 16. 1, we have added up 1, 15 to 16. And China has added up 249. 249. Out of 1,100, roughly about 20 plus percentage, 25%. Look at this level C. They've gone up 5,291. China has almost added up 50% of the level C worldwide. Because they have taken a view that if you are level C, you have so much way of learning that you become better project manager. They have learned. There's nothing to prove. The proof is this, that by acquiring skills and this kind of competency, you perform better. Here people debate, if I become level C, what would be the advantage to the company, We keep on intellectualizing these things. We see by having tamso ma jyotirgamaya, by removing the darkness, by understanding the best practices, we are going to provide better. Our neural networks are going to be more effective. Whatever we do will be better. So that is the kind of, India is a land of knowledge and wisdom. We have to rediscover that. We will. And if you look at the level D, it's estimated that 0.2 have been added, and this India is not that bad at that level, but here we are miserable. So this is just to see this, and I think the China has made, I have been to China many times, and I have trained a lot of Chinese managers and executives. My first visit was in 99. 7-8 years I have gone many times. During the SARS, I was one of the very few foreign speakers who had gone there, including my speech in the Great Hall in Beijing on mergers and acquisitions, how you can use project management. That was my title. UNIDO sponsored conference. I've seen China, and they have really, from 95, when we started in 92, China was far behind. I've seen their history. 99 far behind in terms of general project management. In 2001, we were much ahead in leading, whatever the small numbers of certified people. I happened to be the first certified project professional in 97. 2001, I was IPML level A. But here, the report from UNIDO Investment Promotion Office published, they said in the early 21st century, they need 5 million managers they will need in China training, and 600,000 persons certified. This is the report accepted by the government. And therefore, this has given rise to 130 universities giving BS level, Bachelor of Science. And 90 plus universities who are engaged in MS level degree in project management. So, project management is now becoming the core competency. So the change has taken place. When it can take place to our neighboring country, I see no reason. We have great institutions here. We have great intellect, the Planning Commission, the State Planning Commission's board, the state, we can work together and see something happening. And the last one, ISO 21500 is released. It's an ISO standard in project management, how to manage projects. And a lot of you should start looking at it on ISO 21500. This is a good standard, and this is on standard on project management. Company should start using some of these things.